Game All-Stars.
Hi, this is Wes Rogers for Video Game All-Stars. Tonight, we're going to look into the world of video games, a billion-dollar industry that claims a fortune in small change every day. In the next half hour, we'll meet some true video game champions, learn how to beat some of the most popular games, and investigate the video game phenomenon. What effect do the games have on us? Well, we'll find out on Video Game All-Stars.
We'll be back to Video Game All-Stars after these messages.
Quarter Flash, hero of the video universe.
Savior of the universe.
2-for-1 play, free games with a Quarter Flash club card. Quarter Flash Arcade, 126 North Nevada, downtown.
$5-cent video games, 5-cent pinball. Wow!
At the 5-center game room, all 70 different games are always just 5 cents. Your quarter gets you 5 times the fun of any ordinary game room. Bring the whole family for 5-cent thrills. The 5-center game room, 509 South Circle Drive, Colorado Springs.
Video games are the fastest growing new form of entertainment in America today. People are pumping millions of quarters into video games across the nation each and every week. We spoke to some local players and asked them why.
Well, I like them because it works with the mind. And it just inspires me. No, it does.
In what ways?
It makes me feel good. Just that I can win.
They're fun, they're competition, try to beat the machine, and that's just how it is. It's fun to come down and play.
How do you think video games can help you prepare for other things, such as sports competition or school, things of that nature?
Well, get your reflexes quick and able to react real quick.
Your emotions, the way you move faster and think about stuff, it makes you think faster about what you do.
Eye and hand coordination and stuff, it'd keep you in better shape and stuff, keep your speed and stuff.
What really does entice you to play the games, though?
They're really fun.
What got you into playing video games, and why do you play them?
Well, I like the thrill of, having something coming at you and you're trying to get it too. I work up at the Foothills Equipment Rental. I'd rather go spend my money on this stuff than a lot of other things,
What do you really think, though, it is that makes you want to play video games live? I mean, what is the real challenge?
Well, like some of these games like at Buck Rogers, it's got something coming at you and you're going at it too. It's, like being in a boxing match,
It seems that the players have plenty of reasons to enjoy video games, but there's a special satisfaction reserved for those who have mastered a game. One of these video game all-stars is 14-year-old Jason Blatt of Colorado Springs.
My name is Jason Blatt, and I have been playing Tron ever since the first time I ever saw it. And my high score is 325,000, and that was a very lucky game. In Tron, you are portrayed as Tron, the mystical man inside the computer. He's wearing a blue suit. There are 4 games in Tron. One of the games is the I.O. Tower game, where you must shoot your way through spiders and climb into the I.O. Tower and move up to the next level. When you go through the I.O. Tower stage, you gain a disc and get more repetitive fire. The light cycle game is when you're in a light cycle and the light cycle leaves a trail behind it. You're facing an enemy light cycle too, and the object of the game is to trap your enemy inside its own light cycle path, or your light cycle path. The light cycle paths are deadly, and so are the walls. If you run into the path or the walls, you will die. Then there is the MCP cone game. This is like a futuristic version of Breakout. You have to shoot through all the blocks which are moving and descending towards you, sometimes very fast, and you must climb up to the top to win. You die if you touch the blocks. Oh yeah. Then there's the tank game. The tank game is when you're inside of a tank, only you have very repetitive fire. you're in a maze against other enemy tanks, numbering up to 6 or 7 tanks. The only way you can die is if a tank shoots you or touches you. Whenever you're finished, you must always slow down or you will run out of space and die. The enemy cycle cannot slow down, which is its own handicap. You can earn 1,000 bonus points if you shoot all the blocks on a cone. You can do this on the first few or 4 cones, depending on which. If you shoot all the blocks on the cone, you will get a 1,000-point bonus. You can do this on the first few cones, but after a while, the cones are too fast and you can't do it. In the tanks, you must always stay in the middle, because then nobody will shoot at you. But if you try to go into the middle too far, you will reappear at a random point in the screen, which usually means that you are dead. In the MCP cone game, it's always safest to shoot the blocks right where they're coming out. It would be stupid to say shoot at the wrong end of the screen, because then they would just hit you. In a light cycle game, you must be calm. Everybody thinks it's so hard, and so they get really tense, and then they always die because of it. Can you shoot all the spiders is a question I often hear when I'm playing the game. Yes, you can shoot all the spiders on this level. As you can see, I'm not going to do it this time. But the way you do is to shoot all the spiders on the left and then run around to the right so that they're trapped up at the top. As you can see right now, they have nowhere to go. If you go in the I.O. tower when the timer reads 99, that little buzzer will keep buzzing when you go up the tower. You don't get any bonus points or anything, but it just, I don't know, it just sounds cool. As you can see again, I'm going around to the right. This way, you can fire very fast because you can shoot another disc as soon as you hit something. And you're also getting a point for every shot. Spiders are worth 50 points apiece. So this is Point City.
My name is Jerry Inger. I've been playing Frogger since November of 1981, and currently my high score is 125,000. When you play Frogger, there's one objective: to get the frog safely home to the slots on the top of the screen. You do this by maneuvering through the traffic, through the logs on the river, and to the slots. When you're playing, there are initially 5 ways to die, and as you increase in boards, it turns into 8 ways to die as they add new obstacles. Basically, these are running into traffic, the cars and various vehicles going across the screen, jumping into the river off the log, riding on top of or in front of snakes, riding on top of or in front of alligators, riding a log through a screen is automatic death, and letting your timer run out. A few more deaths are when you sit on the end of a log, a sea otter possibly can come up from behind and attack you, and you can miss the slots at the top of the machine, and that's death when you run into the wall. I've maneuvered my way through traffic. I'm now on the logs floating in the river. You can hop on the alligator like I've done there, but you cannot hop on his head or you'll die. You see the 2 snakes moving across the screen. You die if you move in front of those or on top of their heads. And I completed the screen. Once you complete the screen, you start over again, except things get harder. There are more cars at the bottom of the screen, less logs on top to use. Here I'm trying to fill the first hole, which is always the hardest one. You can see I didn't do it. However, I did pick up a fly in that slot. It's extra 200 points if you do it. You'll see it appears. It looks more like a flower than a fly. There's another one right there. Up through traffic again. There's a fly, but I'm a little late on getting that one. I'm only 2 frogs away from completing this screen now. See, I hopped in front of the snake, but I was just far out enough so I didn't get killed. I died. I ran into a truck. There, that first short log is oftentimes a lady frog on there, and one of the objectives is to bring that lady frog home and get extra 200 points for doing so.
I see you, you don't see me. I want you, you don't want me. I don't care, I still have you. You were your clone. My very clone, in my very home, I would never be alone. And if I ask, would you let me borrow your console?
This is Mel Gray reporting for Video Game All-Stars. The new cartoon game from Nintendo and King Features is Popeye, who must brave many dangers to prove his love for olive oil. Competing for Olive's affection is the jealous Brutus, who will destroy Popeye if he can get to him. But Popeye can punch Brutus if he eats his spinach. He can drop a bucket on Brutus's head to take him out of action for a little while. Popeye must pick up the hearts that Olive tosses down before they hit the ground and break, causing the loss of a Popeye and a severe scolding from Olive. When all the hearts are picked up, the game moves on to the second scene, featuring musical notes, Wimpy's Springboard, and Sweet Pea. Popeye must avoid or punch the bottles thrown by Brutus and the Sea Hags. Popeye has superb music and animation. It's hot, and we'll be seeing a lot more of it. When we return, Wes Rogers will talk to a psychologist about video games, and we'll take a look at some games of the future, and we'll meet the world's Gravatar champion, all here on Video Game All-Stars.
We'll be back to Video Game All-Stars after these messages.
Tokens Game World is proud to announce that they've been named as Colorado Springs' first prototype test center for new video games. That means when you come to Tokens, you'll be getting the latest and the best new video games, such as Tron, Joust, Popeye, Lost Tomb, Victory, Monster Bash, Sparkon, and Spectrum. There will be new games arriving every week. With over 100 games now in stock, new games arriving weekly, and 40 tokens for only $5, why go anywhere else? Come into Tokens, 327 Manitou, and blow your gaming mind!
Jolly Roger has the newest in video games. Jolly Roger brings you exciting foosball tournaments. Lucky tokens every week. Win a hip pocket or car stereo. Jolly Roger gives you the best deals on car stereos in southern Colorado. Jolly Roger Arcade, LaSalle and Academy behind DJs.
5-cent video games, 5-cent pinball. Wow!
At the 5 Center Game Room, all 70 different games are always just 5 cents. Your quarter gets you 5 times the fun of any ordinary game room. Bring the whole family for 5-cent thrills. The 5 Center Game Room, 509 South Circle Drive, Colorado Springs.
We now return to Video Game All-Stars.
Dr. Wayne, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the impact video games have on the youth of America. From your experience in talking to young adults, what are the positive effects the games are having on people?
I think there are a number of positive effects. I think on a positive level and a psychological level, we find these games enhance the psychomotor skills and eye-hand coordination of young people. And I think that gives them an ample ability and capability to interface in a highly technical and technologically oriented society. So I think that's a positive aspect of the games, and I think it's industry as well as the military application of these abilities has been well recognized and being capitalized on.
We're talking to Bruce Sherman. He's the manager of Tokens Game World here in Manitou Springs. We've noticed some new games at the location. Bruce, why is that?
We have been selected as a prototype store by the largest distributor in Denver to test market some of the new pieces that are coming out. Some of the games that we have available, right, like Sinistar, Wacko, Atari Force Liberator, Buck Rogers, they're pretty relatively new, or they haven't been released to the general populace yet, and they're trying to get a feel of how the games will do in the Colorado market.
In just what ways are these games different? How can they challenge video players more in the future?
Well, each game that they've got is on a different theme. Wacko is a cartoon-type game. Sinistar is a shoot-'em-up, blast-'em-up, where you're shooting in an asteroid field. Buck Rogers is in like a planet where you come through about 30 different mazes. Atari Force Liberator is where you're defending the Earth from space. And each game is in a way to try to challenge the player in hand and eye coordination and analytical logic as far as on the angle, as far as their shot, speed response, and how they like cartoons.
Bruce, where is the video game industry going? What can we look forward to and seeing in video games in the near future, 5, say 8 years?
You'll see actual hologram rooms where you'll go in and you'll actually be part of the game. You'll see laser disc technology later this year where they make a movie and you are the missing character of the movie. And all these games are coming down the road. These are already in the works right now.
So it's almost like Star Wars coming into reality here on the planet Earth.
That's correct.
This is Mel Greer for Video Game All-Stars. Right now, I'm looking at one of the hottest of the new games, Joust. We're watching Larry Maynard, alias Dark Lord Larry, whose high score is an astounding 1,066,550. In that game, he jousted his way through 73 waves of bounders, hunters, shadow lords, pterodactyls, and lava trolls. You know, in Joust, points are scored for dismounting enemies who ride giant vultures, for lancing pterodactyls, and for picking up eggs. Let's join Larry Maynard for the first several waves of a typical game.
My strategies in Joust are even simple. Hovering just above vulture flight paths easily dismounts the enemy. Catching eggs in the air earns you an extra 500 points. Surviving a survival wave can earn you up to 3,000 points. Beware of the lava troll that lives towards the bottom of the screen. Wave 1 has 3 bounders that you must kill before they dismount you. Wave 2 is a survival wave. You can achieve survival points by playing it safe and not taking unnecessary chances. Do not take too long in any given wave, or a pterodactyl will appear. You can kill him by stabbing him in the mouth, in the air, or on the ground. In Wave 3, there are considerably more mounts in which you must kill before they kill you. As you can see, one gets above me and dismounts me easily.
My name is Ray Miller, and I currently hold the world record on Gravatar, which is about 4,700,000 give or take, and it took about 12 hours to set. And I first was exposed to the game, and it was very difficult to me, and it became an obsession just to sit down, so I played it for about every day for about 3 months, and until I got good at it. The game itself is based on a gravity system, where you have 3 solar systems that consist of 11 planets, a sun in each system, and a reactor in each system, but 11 distinct planets. The mission is to go to the planet, destroy the red bunkers that shoot at you, and pick up the blue fuel cells with your tractor beam, which also shields you against the bullets, and then leave the planet. And by leaving it, once everything is destroyed, you collect the bonus points, and you destroy the planet, and then you move on to the next planet until those planets are destroyed, then you go to the next system. You get a new ship generally every 10,000, depending upon how the game is set, and the game is over until you have no ships left or no fuel left. An entire system of 11 planets is a universe, and there are 4 different universes. The first 11 planets you go through with regular gravity pulling you down, and then after you go through those, you start back at the first planet again with a negative gravity that pulls you up, and then once you go through there, you go back to the same planets with the regular gravity but an invisible planet surface. And after you go through there, the 4th and final universe is a negative gravity with invisible planet surface, which means you can still see the red bunkers and the blue fuel cells, but you can't see the walls, even though if you run into them, you can still die.
My name's Mark Gilpin, and I play Robotron. My high score on it is 20 million, but I can go higher than 20 million, but every time I do get to that high, it does get kind of boring, and I just stop playing it and give it away to somebody else. Okay, Robotron is a game of the future in a way. It's in 2084, and you're the last hope of mankind to go out and save all your family. You've been possessed with powers to shoot anything that you want and kill, and you go around and collect Mommy and Dad and Mikey, and you get so many thousand points for everyone you collect. And as you collect them, you shoot everything that you're going by and try and clear away as much as you can on the screen to collect the people for extra bonus points. And then after you get through the screens, you take into the next screen, which you have tank waves, which are things that shoot fireballs at you that will bounce back and forth on the screen to hit you. You have circles that put out little things also that if you don't get them quick enough, they will get you also. And then there's things called grunts, which are just little robots that are after you to get you. And then there's the Incredible Hulk, which is indestructible, and he's out to search your family to kill them before you get to them. Brainwaves, when you get into brainwaves, always look for the least amount of brains and the most people, because you're looking for the people to get the most points and extra points on them. Stay away from the walls as much as you can on the brains, except for the top wall where you can shoot the progs. On a regular wave, when you've got tanks in them, after you get up past, say about 300,000, you'll have tanks in with your regular waves. One of your tanks, or all of your tanks, should be the first couple of shots that you shoot out. On a tank wave, always watch which way the tanks are going and try to go the opposite way of them, or maybe even follow them so you can try and hit all the tanks that you're going along. But don't really worry about the tanks and squares themselves, worry about the tanks and just getting the tanks out of there. And on also the tanks, you have like about 4 shots that are the fastest and bounce around the screen about 4 times. And if you don't get out of their way or shoot them, you will definitely die. Regular ways to try and stay out of the sides of the walls. Try and stay in the middle of the screen as much as possible.
We'll be back to Video Game All-Stars after these messages.
Thanks for joining us for this special program. If you or someone you know could be an all-star, contact us in care of this station. Tune in next time for another look inside the exciting world of video games on Video Game All-Stars.